I want to tell you a story today. One about a dinner that shattered my whole world. Now, I might be 60 years old, and you might think I'm just a simple man named William, sitting here sipping my coffee. But believe me, sometimes the most invisible people are the ones carrying the heaviest weight for everyone else. I was sitting on my usual chair, the one with the worn-out cushion that Lisa, my daughter, never bothered to replace. My hands were trembling slightly as I held a glass of water. On the table sat the white dinnerware set her mother and I had given her 10 years earlier for her wedding. The rich smell of garlic and tomatoes drifted from the kitchen, but my stomach was empty. I wasn't hungry. I was choked by a lump rising in my throat. Lisa sat across from me, smiling with that half smirk I knew too well, the one she used whenever she thought she'd won an argument. Next to her, her husband, Michael, stared down at his plate, avoiding the tension. My two grandchildren, Kyle and Julia, were glued to their cell phones, completely unaware of how heavy the air in the room had become. Then Lisa spoke, her tone full of condescension. "You need to understand something, Dad. Eileen built everything by herself. She started her company from nothing, travels the world, raised Michael." She paused, looking directly at me. "Well, she's not like you, depending on Mom and later just existing." Just existing. Those two words hit me like a physical blow. They echoed in my head like a sound falling into a deep pit. My face burned, my eyes stung. But I didn't cry, not in front of her, not after everything I had done for her mother and for her. I took a slow breath, counted silently to 3, and spoke. My voice was calm and cold, as if I had just woken up from a very long sleep. "I understand." I placed my napkin on the table slowly, deliberately. "If Eileen is that capable, then let her help you from now on." Lisa frowned. "What are you talking about?" "I'm going to stop paying your bills." My words landed firmly, each one hitting like a stone thrown into still water. Tuition for the kids, the car loan, health insurance, gym membership, the mortgage, everything. Let Eileen help you. The silence that followed was suffocating. Michael looked up, his eyes wide with panic. Kyle set down his phone. Julia stared at me, sensing something vital had just shifted. And Lisa, her face went instantly pale. "Dad," she swallowed hard. "What bills are you talking about?" What bills? That question was the final drop that overflowed the glass. My 45-year-old daughter, with a degree, a husband, and 2 teenage kids, had no idea how many things I had quietly carried for her all these years. She had no clue about the financial weight I bore, month after month, while she praised her mother-in-law and looked down on her own father. I stood up slowly, picked up my old brown leather wallet, the one that had followed me through the years, worn but reliable, and looked straight into Lisa's eyes. There was no anger there, only disappointment and a fierce resolve. "You'll find out," I said softly, each word heavy as lead. "Ask the bank, or ask Eileen." I left the apartment without looking back. My footsteps echoed down the hallway, steady, firm. As the elevator doors closed, I could still hear Lisa calling after me. "Dad, wait!" But I didn't wait. Not this time. That night, driving back to my own house, the one her mother and I built brick by brick with our own sweat, I realized something. Being invisible doesn't mean being weak. And when an invisible man finally decides to speak, the whole world shakes. My name is William. I'm 60 years old. My hands are calloused from a lifetime of work, but my heart, though scarred, still beats strong. That dinner conversation wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. For 20 years, I had built a financial castle so my daughter could live in comfort, never realizing I was the foundation beneath her feet. Do you want to know why Lisa's words hurt me so deeply? Because she never truly knew who I was. No one did. I had become so quiet in my sacrifices that even my own child thought I merely existed. Let me tell you the truth. My life split when Lisa was young. Her mother, Anne, and I ran a small stationery shop. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Then, her mother was gone. I was left alone, 35, with a 12-year-old girl. People looked at me with pity. Poor William. A single father with a child. No real profession. A week later, the accountant came by. Debts, overdue rent, unpaid invoices. I stared at the red numbers, negative $34,800, and I thought, either collapse or rise. I rose. I took over the shop. I learned how to negotiate, how to build spreadsheets, how to wake up at 5 a.m. to check inventory. My hands toughened. My back ached, but I didn't stop. Why? Because I'd look at my daughter in her school uniform and think, she'll have a better life than I did. She'll make it further. And she did. When Lisa wanted to study business administration, I didn't hesitate. Tuition was $1,780 a month for 4 years. I calculated over $85,000 total. I worked twice as hard, turning our small shop into a distribution company, signing contracts with schools. I refused outings, vacations, every small joy. My life was Lisa. I was there at her graduation, sitting in the last row, crying out of pride, exhaustion, and relief. 2 years later, she needed her MBA, another $42,000. I said, go ahead, I'll handle it. And I did somehow. When she married Michael, I paid $120,000 as the down payment on their condo. I just want you to start your life debt-free, I whispered to her. 3 years later, I bought her a $68,000 car, paid in full. I sold my stocks, emptied my emergency savings just to see her smile. And through all those years, not once did Lisa ask, Dad, are you okay? Do you need anything for yourself? I became the invisible provider, the magic account that paid every bill, and no one ever asked where the money came from. Until I stopped. When I finally said no, instead of gratitude, she compared me to her mother-in-law, Eileen, the woman she believed had conquered the world on her own. Eileen. Just hearing that name tightens my chest. Not from envy, but from the bitter sting of being constantly compared to someone who wasn't even in the same race. When I first met Eileen at the engagement party, I understood why Lisa idolized her. Eileen walked into the room as if it belonged to her, 64 years old, looking barely 50, designer dress, expensive perfume and jewelry. Everything about her screamed one message, I made it. And me? I wore my old navy blue suit and scuffed leather shoes. You must be William, she said, kissing the air near both my cheeks, detached, as if she didn't truly see me. Lisa talks about you so much. It's lovely to have such a present father. Present. That word sounded like she meant something else entirely. Eileen's subtle jabs were the worst. William, you work too hard. Don't you ever take vacations? She asked during a family lunch. A man must take care of himself. I always say, if you don't value yourself, no one else will. As if I chose hardship. Another time, Larissa told me, you own a little office supply distribution business. How sweet. I love small family enterprises like that. They have such a charming vibe. Small business. Each word pierced my pride like a needle. The worst part, Lisa never defended me. She laughed along, nodding as if she truly believed my life was small, unremarkable. I had given her everything, and yet in her mind, Shaped by that woman's influence, I hadn't given her the most important thing, a role model. But the truth about Eileen's perfect story, it was a mask, glossy on the outside, hollow within. When I uncovered the truth, everything fell into place. Her arrogance, her subtle jabs, her constant need to prove herself, all symptoms of what she was hiding. But back then, I was still the invisible father, dimmed by the fake glow my daughter worshipped. That darkness only lifted when I finally found the strength to turn on the light. That Friday morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. All night I had replayed Lisa's mocking voice. "She's not like you, Dad." I opened my old laptop and logged into my bank account. It was time to face the numbers. I grabbed my notebook and began writing down every expense I'd made over the years. Private school tuition for both kids, $6,400 monthly for 4 years. Family health insurance, $2,180 monthly for 3 years. The remaining condo's loan payments I covered, $187,200. The car, paid in full, $68,000. Condo fees, groceries, gym memberships, tutoring, ballet lessons. Altogether, I had paid over $735,000. Vanished as if I were a walking ATM. What bills? Dad? That question echoed again. I called the bank and calmly canceled every automatic payment. When the clerk asked if I was sure, I said, "I'm sure." I took a shower. The hot water ran down my back, washing away years of silent endurance. I looked into the mirror. I said to my reflection, "I'm not invisible. I just let people treat me that way." I met my friend Teresa for coffee and told her everything. She looked at me and said, "You were just being a father, William. Fathers give everything. But giving everything isn't always love. Sometimes it's self-destruction." I had raised a daughter who didn't understand the value of anything. "I won't say a word," I told Teresa. "I want to see how long it takes her to realize the faucet's dry. Let's see if she runs to her perfect mother-in-law." I gave her 3 weeks. 3 weeks until the first bill came due. I wanted justice. It was time to prove to Lisa that the man who merely existed was the one who had been holding her whole life together. 22 days. That's exactly how long it took before the first explosion hit. I was checking inventory when my phone rang. "Lisa," I answered, jotting down figures. "Mom, something's wrong." "What is it?" I asked calm. "The school called. Tuition is 3 weeks late." "Didn't you set up automatic payment?" she asked, still thinking money just appeared. "I did," I said, "but I canceled it." "You canceled it? How could you do that without telling me?" "The same way you compared me to your mother-in-law without warning me," I replied. "Dad, please. This is about the kids. They'll be humiliated." "Lisa, you're 45. You have a degree, a husband, and 2 teenage children," I said slowly. "You and Michael can't handle $6,400 a month for your own kids. You know we're tight on money, Dad. Michael still owes his mom for the car loan she helped with." "His mom helped?" "Eileen." "Yes, Eileen. She helped us buy the car. With interest, I assume." Lisa hesitated. 5% a month. She said it's to teach us financial responsibility. I laughed a dry, bitter laugh. "And what about the tuition, insurance, condo, car, gym? Who do you think paid all that? Me. And I never charged a penny in interest." Lisa began to cry. "Dad, please don't do this. If we don't pay, the school will hold the kids' records." "From now on," I said firmly, "you'll pay your bills. Or ask your perfect mother-in-law." "Eileen won't," she started. "Eileen won't what?" I interrupted. "Nothing. Forget it." I could tell she was hiding something. How many times have you borrowed from her?" After a few seconds of silence, she sighed. "Twice. Once to fix the kitchen, once to buy a fridge. And she lent you the money with interest, 5% a month. And you owe her $60,000. Yes. Well, then you know what to do. Lisa," I concluded, "call Eileen, borrow more. Learn that financial responsibility she talks about." I said nothing more. Her voice was trembling, but I held my silence and hung up. I rested my forehead on the desk, trying to breathe. Pain, anger, relief, and guilt swirled together inside me. I was tired, aching, but a strange peace settled over me because I had finally laid down a burden that was never mine to carry. Sometimes we love so much that we forget to teach, and teaching a hard lesson hurts for both the teacher and the student, but it's necessary. Lisa had to fall to learn how to stand. I didn't expect the consequences to surface so soon. 2 days later, Teresa's cousin, who worked as a waitress in an upscale downtown restaurant, texted me. "William, your daughter's here with that blonde woman from the photo you showed me. They look serious." My stomach twisted. Lisa had gone to Eileen just as I predicted. I texted back, "Can you hear what they're saying?" "I'll try. Their table is near the counter." I stared at my phone for 20 long minutes. Then a long message arrived. Teresa's cousin had sharp ears. She said Lisa arrived nervous, ordering a glass of wine. Something she only did when she was desperate. Eileen showed up immaculate as always, hair perfectly styled, that cold, knowing smile on her face. The conversation began with small talk, but then Lisa finally gathered her courage. "Eileen, I need to ask you for help," she said, her voice trembling. "Of course, dear. What is it?" Eileen smiled, savoring the moment. My dad cut off all the financial support he used to send us without warning. Now we're drowning in bills. The kids' tuition, credit cards, Michael's car loan. It's about $8,400, and I need to come up with it by Friday. Lisa twisted the napkin in her hands. Eileen took a slow sip of wine. "I see," she said, too sweetly. "But Larissa, don't you think it's time you two learn to live on your own income? You and Michael are adults." The same words I had once said, but from her lips, they became knives dripping with contempt. I know. It's just a rough phase. Once Michael gets that promotion..." "Lisa," Eileen interrupted, setting her glass down with a sharp clink. "Your mother and father spoiled you, and now you're paying the price." When I read that line, I had to sit down. My eyes burned. I spoiled her. I ruined my own daughter. "But you can help me, right? You always say family is everything." "Yes, family is everything." Eileen signaled the waiter for more wine. "But real help isn't giving money, it's teaching responsibility." Lisa's face fell, her eyes filled with tears. "Eileen, please, just $8,400. I promise I'll pay you back." A long silence followed. Eileen pulled a designer purse from her chair, took out her phone, and tapped for a few seconds. "All right," she sighed as if performing a great act of generosity. "I'll transfer $2,000 right now. That's all I can do. I have my own obligations, you understand? $2,000 when Lisa needed $8,400. That's it." Lisa's voice was barely a whisper. "Sweetheart, I have bills too, and investments. I'll need it back in 30 days with the usual adjustment." Lisa went pale. 5% interest. Exactly. Standard rate, dear. In 30 days, you'll return $20,100. I had given my daughter hundreds of thousands without ever charging a cent, while that woman lent $2,000 and demanded an extra 100. Eileen went on and on about how she built everything from nothing. about independence and how the world gives nothing for free. Your father sheltered you too much from reality. Now you're learning the hard way, Eileen concluded, her tone venomous. She paid the bill for wine and appetizers with a gold credit card. When I finished reading the cousin's report, I sat motionless for nearly an hour. Lisa had been humiliated because of me and left with a mere $2,000 plus interest. I had given everything, expecting nothing but love. And yet that woman stood on a pedestal as a symbol of strength. But something about her excuse bothered me. Eileen claimed her company was restructuring investing, a convenient excuse not to lend more. A woman who bragged about wealth and success, yet could only lend $2,000 and charge a shark-level interest. Something didn't add up. I called Teresa. Teresa, do you still know Morris, that accountant who works with cosmetic companies? I do. Why? I need you to find something out for me about Eileen. 2 days later, Teresa called. William, sit down. What I'm about to tell you will shock you. Eileen is a fraud, a perfect illusion. I almost dropped my coffee cup. A chill ran straight down my spine. Start from the beginning. Teresa took a deep breath. Morris showed me the records. Eileen's company, Natural Beauty, is drowning in debt, nearly $890,000. She didn't build a thing. She inherited everything from her father Arnaldo, who owned 3 factories, and then she burned through the entire fortune. I remember the old plaque in Eileen's office, Arnaldo Industries Est, 1978. I'd never paid attention. In 2019, Eileen opened 3 luxury boutiques. Sales were only half of what she projected. In 2022, all 3 stores went bankrupt. She's buried in supplier debt and bank loans. What about the fancy apartment she lives in? Rented $3,800 a month, and she's 2 months behind. The luxury car still owes $78,000 on it. The designer clothes and jewelry, all on installments. 4 credit cards maxed out, revolving debt around $20,000. I stared into the distance. The image of the perfect woman my daughter admired shattered in my mind. And that beach house she's always bragging about. Not hers. It belongs to her former sister-in-law. Eileen borrows it whenever the woman's out of town, then posts pictures on social media as if it's her own. Every word Teresa said clicked into place. Now I understood why she charged her own son interest. Why she could only lend Lisa $2,000. Why her glamour always carried that hidden tension. Teresa, can you print everything for me? Documents, articles, statements, everything. Already emailed them to you. There's a piece from the Economic Journal about her store closures, plus supplier lawsuits. I read through each file like I was assembling a classified report. One article detailed a $1.2 million loss. Another detailed a $240,000 lawsuit from an unpaid supplier. William, what are you going to do? Teresa asked. I'll hold on to it, I said. For now. Lisa needs to know who the woman she worships really is. That afternoon, I organized every document into a folder. I divided it into sections: debts, lawsuits, deceptions, facades. Every page was a piece of evidence, every photo an accusation. Lying in bed that night, I couldn't stop thinking. Eileen had built an entire illusion. I wasn't doing this for revenge, I was doing it for truth, because I wanted my daughter to realize that the light she was chasing was nothing but a spotlight. I wanted her to see that I, the man she looked down on, was the one who had built something real with strength, honor, and my own 2 hands. The next morning, Lisa texted me. Dad, I managed to cover half of the tuition. Eileen lent me the rest and I'll pay it back little by little. The kids won't have to be embarrassed. I read the message 3 times. Eileen lent her the money as if it was some grand favor. $2,000 with 5% interest. I didn't reply. I just saved the message. I had made up my mind. Very soon I would invite everyone to dinner. Lisa, Michael, the kids, and Eileen. A dinner where truth would be the main course. The perfect woman would be exposed by facts, by numbers, by documents that couldn't be denied. Because sometimes the deepest justice isn't noise, it's turning on the light in a dark room and letting everyone see what they've been pretending not to notice. 63 days after that fateful first evening, on a Saturday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I was in the kitchen baking a cornbread cake from my mother's old recipe, and the sweet smell of anise filled the house. I wiped my hands on my apron and went to open the door, expecting Teresa. But when I opened it, Lisa was standing there. She looked completely different. Her hair was hastily tied up, her face bare, dark circles under her eyes. Her linen blouse was wrinkled as if she'd slept in it. In her hands was a bouquet of expensive roses. "Hi, Dad." Her voice was small, almost a whisper. I stood in the doorway, not inviting her in right away. My heart tightened, but my mind stayed cold and clear. "Dad, can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, her eyes wandering around the house as if it were unfamiliar territory. Strange, really. How many times had she been here in the past few years? 5, 6, and always in a rush. "Hi, Dad. Just grabbing a few things. Got to run." Then the familiar, "See you next week." A week that never came. "Sit down," I said, pointing to the sofa. "Coffee?" "No, thank you." She sat on the edge of the couch, clutching the bouquet of expensive roses like a life raft. I took the bouquet, probably around $180, and set it on the table without finding a vase. "What do you need?" I asked, still standing. "Dad, please sit." I sat across from her, fingers interlaced, waiting. Lisa took a deep breath, avoiding my eyes. I came to apologize about that night. I said things I shouldn't have. I was just tired. I didn't mean it. "No," I said coolly. "You said exactly what you meant. People sleep only when they're tired of pretending, not when they're lying." She looked up, her eyes already wet. "That's not true, Dad. I was just influenced." Eileen talked so much about how she built everything herself. And I believed her. You believed her. And then you compared me to her. You decided I was lesser, didn't you? "No, that's not what It is, Larissa." I leaned forward. "You laughed in my face. In front of your husband, your children. You said I'd achieved nothing. That I only existed." A tear rolled down her cheek. "I know I was wrong. I'm sorry." The clock ticked steadily. Then I asked, "Why are you really here, Larissa?" "Because you're my father, and how much do you owe?" I interrupted. She froze. "How much do you owe?" I repeated. Her shoulders dropped. "About $27,000 over the past 2 months. Details." She handed me her phone. The screen was filled with red numbers. Tuition $6,400, 2 months late. Credit card $4,030. Car loan $30,700. 2 installments overdue. Condo fees $1,000. Supermarket $2,100 owed on a store card. And one more line. Eileen Pfizer $2,100. What's this? The money I borrowed from her. $2,000 principal, $100 interest due next week. Eileen disappointed you, didn't she? I said. Not asked. She remained silent. You went back into her, got humiliated, and left with a few scraps. She even charged you 5% interest as if you were an investment. Dad, she said her company's struggling, that they're restructuring. I know she uses that excuse with everyone. I walked into the kitchen, turned off the oven, and came back. Lisa, did you come here for money? She lowered her head. I came to apologize. And also, yes, I need help. Dad, the school's about to cancel the kids' enrollment. Kyle's embarrassed. Julia had to quit ballet because I couldn't pay. My chest tightened. Thinking of those kids made my heart ache, but I couldn't give in. Not this time. What do you want me to do? Help me. Just this once, I promise. Promise what? That you'll respect me, that you'll be grateful, that you'll stop comparing me to someone else, or just until the next time you forget. Dad, I'm not like that. You are. You only remember me when you need something. When was the last time you called just to ask how I was, not to ask for money? She said nothing. Answer me, Lisa. When? I don't remember. Exactly. Because it's been too long. I stood up. You're 45. You have an MBA, a job, a husband. Both of you earn good money, yet you can't manage it. You think it was easier for me. I was 35, widowed, with a 12-year-old child and a shop drowning in debt. Dad, I know. No, you don't. You've never known. Do you know how many nights I stayed up calculating bills? How many times I gave up small joys so you could study? How many opportunities, trips, friendships I sacrificed just so you could have what others did? I raised my hand. You said Eileen built everything on her own, and I didn't. Then now, Larissa, you build on your own. Alone. Her sobs filled the room. You want me out on the street. You want my kids to suffer. I turned to her. No. I want you to grow up. I want you to learn. Learn what? That nothing falls from the sky. That respect must be earned. That dignity doesn't live in fancy condos or new cars, but in character, in knowing who truly stands by you. She grabbed her purse. So that's it. You won't help me. Her voice trembled with despair. Good, I said. Then you'll handle it yourself. Fine. She walked toward the door. You've changed, Dad. No, I said quietly. I just stopped being invisible. Then she left. 3.5 months after that painful night, I was finally ready. I spent an entire week cleaning, scrubbing every corner of the house. I took out the beige linen tablecloth, the one I saved for special occasions. I went to the market buying filet mignon, roasted potatoes, and everything I needed for the chocolate dessert my grandkids loved. On Thursday afternoon, I sent a voice message to our family group chat, the one Lisa had created years ago, but which had been silent for ages. Hi everyone, I'm inviting you all to dinner at my house this Saturday at 7 p.m. Lisa, Michael, Kyle, Julia, and Eileen too. I have something important to say. I hope everyone can make it. 10 minutes later, Lisa replied, Dad, why is Eileen invited? You'll understand that night. Michael texted briefly. We'll be there, Mr. William. Eileen took 2 hours to respond. What a surprise, dear William. Of course, it'll be an honor to attend. An honor. She had no idea what was waiting for her. Saturday morning, I woke up at 6 a.m., showered, and put on the new black slacks I'd bought 6 months earlier, a white silk blouse and small earrings. I looked at myself in the mirror. 60 years old, my face showing its age, but my gaze was stronger than ever. Today is the day it ends, I told my reflection. The house was spotless when they arrived. First came Michael with Kyle and Julia. The kids hugged me tightly. Julia grinned when I mentioned her favorite chocolate cake, and that smile eased my heart. Lisa arrived next, alone, looking tense. At 7:15, the doorbell rang. Eileen entered as if she were attending a gala. Royal blue dress, high heels, and a cloud of heavy perfume. Her mask was flawless. William, your home is so cozy, she said, glancing around. You keep things so simple. How charming. Thank you for coming, Eileen. Please have a seat. Dinner's ready. I set the table carefully. The meal was simple but elegant. Eileen rambled about her business trip to Colorado, which was obviously fabricated. I waited. When dessert was served and everyone was praising the cake, I stood up. I'll make some coffee. Michael, can you grab the envelope on the shelf for me? He looked confused but brought out a large, heavy, brown envelope. I set it in the middle of the table. The room fell silent. What is that, Dad? Lisa asked, her voice shaking. The truth, I said. I opened the envelope and pulled out the papers. These past few months, I've done what I should have done years ago. Looked into everything. I spread the documents across the table. This one is the record of everything I've paid for you over the past 20 years. Lisa's face turned pale. College, $85,000. MBA, $42,000. Condo down payment, $120,000. Car, $68,000. And over the years, tuition, insurance, housing, groceries, I've paid about $735,000. In total, I said slowly, around $1,050,000. Every penny earned by me through work, savings, and sacrifice alone. Tears streamed down Lisa's face. Michael stared at the numbers, stunned. Dad, I didn't know it was that much. You didn't know because you never asked, but the most interesting part is right here. Eileen's eyes stiffened. What are you talking about? She demanded. I'm talking about the truth, Eileen. I laid down another stack of papers. For years, you've told everyone that you built everything from scratch. But the truth is, you inherited it all from your father, Arnaldo Pfizer. The company, the factories, everything. Eileen's face froze. And you managed it terribly. Here's the lawsuit. $890,000 owed to suppliers. 3 stores closed with a $1.2 million loss. Employees unpaid, bills piling up. Eileen shot to her feet. You have no right. I have every right, I interrupted. When you've used lies to belittle others. I looked straight at her, my voice calm but sharp as glass. You poisoned my daughter's mind, made her believe I was worthless because I didn't flaunt wealth, didn't travel to Paris. I placed the final sheet on the table. That apartment you live in, rented, 2 months late on payments, the luxury car, $78,000 still owed. Designer clothes, all on credit cards, over $12,000 in revolving debt. Each sentence landed like a bomb. You're not wealthy, Eileen. You're bankrupt, surviving on illusion, charging your own son outrageous interest just to keep up a facade that's already cracking. Her face went white, then red. How dare you speak to me like that? I dare because it's the truth. For the first time, my voice rose slightly. You called me small, dependent, weak. You made my daughter ashamed of her own father, and all of it was built on a lie. I didn't inherit anything. I don't owe a cent to anyone. Every dollar I have, I earned. And that, Eileen, is something you'll never be able to say. Eileen snatched her purse. I won't sit here and listen to this. That's your choice, I said, gesturing toward the door. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. The room fell into an uneasy silence. Now, I said quietly, turning to Lisa, you know who truly built everything on her own. Kyle and Julia stared at me, eyes wide. Michael sat pale-faced, gripping the table edge, staring at the documents like evidence in a trial. Lisa, my daughter, collapsed into tears, covering her face. Grandpa. Julia's small, trembling voice broke the silence. You paid for everything? For us. I looked at her, 12 years old, eyes shimmering. Yes, sweetheart. I did it because I love you. But there's a difference, Julia, between giving out of love and letting others treat you like you're invisible. Kyle, calmer and sounding grown, asked, "So Grandma Eileen lied about everything?" Michael answered before I could. His voice was heavy with shame. "Yes, son, she lied." He looked at me, eyes glassy. "Mr. William, I swear I didn't know. I really thought my mom was perfect." "I know," I said softly. "But sometimes appearances fool everyone. Your mother built such a flawless image that even you couldn't see the cracks." Michael lowered his head. "I'm sorry for the way she treated you, for everything she said. I should have stood up for you." "I don't need an apology on her behalf," I said gently, pouring coffee for everyone. The warmth of the cup steadied me. Each of us is responsible for our own actions. Lisa looked up. Her eyes were swollen, her makeup smeared. She looked 10 years older in 10 minutes. "Dad," she rasped. "Altogether, about 1,050,000? "Yes. I never asked where you got the money. I just took it. God, I've been so selfish." She sobbed, then knelt before me like she had when she was a little girl. "Dad, I treated you terribly. I said cruel things. Looked down on you while you gave me everything." I placed my hand on her cheek. "You're my daughter. I'd do it all again, but differently." I paused. "I don't want your money, Lisa. I never did. I only want one thing." "What is it, Dad?" "I want you to grow up, to learn to live on your own income with Michael's and yours, not mine." Michael stepped forward. "I promise we'll cut our spending, balance things out, live within our means. I promise." "Good," I nodded. "And one more thing." I went to the kitchen and brought out a piece of paper. "This is an employment contract. I want you to work for me at the distribution company." Lisa read it, eyes wide. $4,800 a month? "Yes." "You have an MBA. You're capable. It's time to use it to build something real, not to live off someone else. You'll learn how to run a business, how I turned a small failing shop into a stable company. You'll work, sweat, and feel what it means to earn something yourself." "Dad, I'll do it," she said without hesitation. "When do I start?" "Monday, 7:30 a.m. Michael laughed. "You've never seen Lisa up that early, Mr. William." "Well, you're about to," I replied lightly, then looked at him. "And you, Michael, how's that new position?" "It's confirmed. Starts next month. Comes with a $1,200 raise." "Good. That brings your combined income to nearly $11,000 a month. Not extravagant, but enough for a decent life. It's just about priorities." Lisa nodded, wiping her tears. "I promise we'll make it work." "Good. I'll help you make a budget." I pull out my old notebook. "We'll plan it line by line. Cut the extras. No gym membership. Fewer restaurant meals. Find a good but affordable school for the kids. And that $27,000 debt, you'll pay it down gradually. No more quick loans." "Understood," Michael said quietly. "Thank you, Grandpa," Kyle said, hugging me tightly. Julia ran over and joined him. "Grandpa, we love you. We're sorry." My heart, tired and scarred, suddenly felt warm again. We all sat and talked late into the night. Lisa helped wash the dishes, something she hadn't done in years. Michael fixed the wobbly chair in the living room. Slowly, my family came back together. Not as before, but better, more honest, more real, more loving. They left close to midnight. Lisa was the last one at the door. She looked at me with the same eyes I'd known since the day I first held her. "Dad," she whispered, "you taught me the biggest lesson of my life today." "What lesson is that?" "That dignity can't be bought, it's built." She hugged me tightly. "And that the strongest man I've ever known was always right in front of me. I just wasn't looking." When the door closed, I sat on the sofa. The house was quiet again, but it was peaceful. I looked at the papers still on the table, the numbers that told my life story of sacrifice, resilience, and love. The kind of love that gives, but also knows when to stop. 6 months later, I was at the office when Lisa burst in, breathless, holding a folder. "Dad, I just signed a supply contract with the state school chain. It's worth $15,000. Pride filled my heart, not because of the money, but because my daughter had achieved it through her own effort. A year and a half after that fateful dinner, I woke up on a gentle Saturday morning with a calmness I hadn't felt in years. I brewed black coffee and sat on the porch with my old notebook. But today, not to calculate numbers, I opened it to write the raw, true story of my life. The gate creaked open. Lisa walked in, holding a bag of warm bread from the bakery. "Good morning, Dad." She kissed my forehead. "And this month, we've saved $800 already." I smiled. To some, $800 might seem small, but for a family that once owed nearly $27,000, it was a profound victory. "And what about the debt?" "Just $2,100 left. We'll finish paying it off by March," she said. "Dad, Michael, and I talked. Once the debt is gone, we're going to start sending you a little money each month. Not much, but $200. Just to thank you." My eyes stung. "Sweetheart, that's not necessary." "No, Dad, I need to do it. Not because of the money, but because I want to prove I've changed. That I'm no longer someone who only takes." We hugged on the porch, letting the coffee grow cold. "You don't owe me anything," I whispered. "You've already repaid me with your growth, your change, and your love." A while later, Michael and the kids arrived. Kyle had earned a scholarship at his new, simpler but excellent school. Julia had returned to ballet, now in a community program. "Grandpa, look," Julia said, showing me her phone, a picture of her and the other girls smiling brightly. "We're performing at the City Theater in June. You'll come, right?" "Of course, sweetheart. Front row." Kyle handed me a certificate. "I got second place in a school essay contest I wrote about you." I held the paper, my hands trembling. His essay read, "My grandpa, William, taught me that strength isn't about never falling, but about standing up every time you do. My grandpa is my hero." I pulled Kyle into a hug so tight he laughed. Michael stepped closer. "Mr. William, I need to tell you something. I've cut ties with my mother." The room fell silent. "Why?" I asked. After that dinner, I tried talking to her. I asked her to admit she'd lied, to change, but she refused. She's still the same, spinning what she doesn't have, pretending to live a life that doesn't exist. I realized we don't have to accept toxic behavior just because it comes from family. Real family means respect and support, like you did for us. My heart ached for Eileen. She was trapped in a prison built from pride and illusion. "Grandpa, Eileen didn't really care about us," Kyle spoke up. "She gave us expensive gifts, but she never asked what we dreamed about." Out of the mouth of a 15-year-old came a truth many adults never grasp. Gifts can't replace love. When they left, the sun was setting. I returned to the porch, opened my old notebook, and wrote the final line on the last page. They once thought I was invisible, but I was the foundation of it all. And when the foundation shifts, everything falls. Not to destroy, but to rebuild, stronger, truer, and more worthy. I closed the notebook. My distribution company was thriving. Lisa had become an excellent sales manager. My house was still modest, but I had what money could never buy: dignity and a family that finally saw my true worth. That night before bed, I received a message from Lisa. "Dad, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for teaching me even when it hurt. Thank you for being the strongest man I've ever known. I love you with all my heart." I replied simply, "I love you too." Then I slept peacefully. It took me many years to understand that love doesn't mean enduring everything, and strength doesn't mean hardening yourself. True strength is being able to say enough when it's time, and still keep kindness in your heart. Have you ever had to stand up again after being hurt by the people you love most? What did you learn from it? Share your story in the comments, because maybe your words will warm someone's heart that's in need of a little hope. If you'd like to keep listening to stories about family, gratitude, and resilience, stay with me. Together, we'll keep walking this path, one story at a time.